The writer was living alone in an empty flat in a quiet Moscow street. His parents were divorced. His father was somewhere in Kazakhstan with his new wife and their 2 children. He seldom received letters from him. And after his mother was also at the front. She had left her work as a geologist to become a singer, and she was giving concerts for the troops. The narrator's education was left to the street. The street taught him to swear, smoke, spit elegantly through his teeth, and to keep his fist at the ready. Also, the street taught him not to be afraid of anything or anyone. And while struggling in his life, the street also taught him to overcome his fear of those who were stronger. Up to this point, I taught you in the last class. Now see that is the second unit. At first unit पढ़ाइला बुझेइतिली बुझिथिबो ना स्पीड हे जाउची. So, do you think that the narrator was scared of someone in particular? Scared. Scared means that is the horrified, terrified, afraid of. Okay? 3 meanings, also frightened also. That is, do you think that the narrator was scared of someone in particular? Read the following unit of the text and find out the reasons that made every boy scared of red. So in this unit, we shall learn how every boy in the street were afraid of a boy called Red. The ruler of our street was a boy of about 16 who was nicknamed Red. The street in which the writer was living, there lived a boy, that is his nickname was Red. So that is the street in which the writer was living, there lived a 16 years old boy and his nickname was Red. जो गली रे लेखक बास करथिले सेठी गोटे 16 वयस्कर बालकटिए बास करता ता डाक ना थिला रेड. So the Red was big and broad shouldered beyond his years. He was big and broad shouldered. Broad means wide. Broad, that is the wide, चौड़ा कांध. Shoulder ru कराइछि shoulder. This is shoulder. Big and broad shouldered beyond his years. In comparison to his age. Beyond his years means in comparison to his age. Red was overgrown. He was, that means, very big and also broad shouldered. Physically, he had a very strong growth. He was big and broad shouldered beyond his years. In comparison to his age. What are the age of Red? 16 years old. In comparison to his age, he had physical, that means extremely physical growth. Having, that means broad and wide shouldered. So what made Red look, that means older than other boys? What made Red look older than other boys? Now Red was 16 years old boy. He was big and broad shouldered. This made Red look older than others. Do you follow it? Now bujhoni? Bujhila nahi? So you Hindustani? Samjha kya nahi? Okay. That is Red. What made Red look older than other boys? The Red was 16 years old boy, and also he was big and broad shouldered. This made Red look older than other boys. Red walked masterfully. Masterfully, not caring for others. Masterfully, not caring for others. Red Red walked masterfully. Not caring for others. Don't care. Carelessly he walked on the street. That is the up and down our street. Red walked, that means carelessly or not caring for others in their street. Legs wide, with the wide steps. Legs wide means with the wide steps, with a slightly rolling gait. Slight rolling gait means moving from side to side. Gait, manner of walking, style of walking. That is a rolling gait, like a seaman on his deck. Sailor, deck, top part of the ship. Okay? So the red, he walked masterfully up and down the street with the wide steps. You might have seen that while entering the parks, there are that gates. You just enter, that will move from side to side, isn't it? चारिकोणिया ହେଇଥିବ जो गेट गुड़ाक खोलिक पछाड़ बोलता से तुम गला पर से बुलुथो एमती. So the side rolling gate, like a seaman on the deck, the top part of the ship. And when the sailor moves there, he is absolutely careless because no harm will be there. So that's why you may get the question, how did red roam in the street? R-O-A-M. R-O-A-M means wonder. Okay? Move here and there, wonder. Roam ru Romeo ko na di road Romeo. Say English words was. Ajikali to English nahi English he galani, hala. So that is how did red roam in the street? Roam means move here and there, wonder. Lakshya no habare entine buliba. That is the red walked. Red was the ruler of the street. He walked masterfully up and down with a slightly rolling gait, like a seaman on the deck. In this way, he roamed in the street. Do you understand or not? How did red roam in the street? Now, red walked. Kebe walked ko iboni. Walked. ଯେମିତି ଆମର BSc ପିଲା କହିବେ would do, should do, could do. No, don't recite it. You have known the phonetics, the utterance. So red walked masterfully up and down the street with wide steps, like a slightly rolling gait, like a seaman on the deck. In this way, red roamed on the street. From under his cap, red used to wear the cap, hat. Its peak is always at the back. It's a peak. Peak means front part of the cap. Also peak, top part of the mountain. And PICK, that is the lift or raise. उठेगा. देखो you mark. Pick. PICK verb. उठेगा. I picked the pen. Raise. Pick. this is the peak of the mountain, top part of the mountain, Srunga, Sarvocha. But here it is the front part of the cap. So from under his cap, its peak is always at the back of his head. Red used to wear cap in a different manner. The front part of the cap was at the back side, always at the back side, and the back part of the cap was always at the front side. ना नहीं उल्टी पिंधला कौन फेल्ट पट्टा पछपटू को and out of his round his forelock tumbled down. Forelock, for long hair, forelock tumbled, shook, doliva, like a fairy, very strong, cascade, water falling, waterfall. also बर्तमान तो आमर देखा मिले कि आम पाठ पढ़ा बेले थिला सेटा आम पाठ पढ़ा बेले हिपी स्टाइल आमर थला कान देखा जाऊ नथला पूरा एजाए बाल रखुलु चिप्पा पेंट आंठू जाए तापर एडी गोदरगिरी पिंधि जाऊलु जार जिते बेल बटन से स्टाइलिश आ सार्ट गुड़ा सब झील पिला भाया पिंधुलु पछपटे प्रिंट पकई एतक चिप्पा एत चिप्पा है तो हाँ एत चिप्पा है तो तलटा टे ढिला थी से स्टाइलिश आम पाठ पढ़ा पिंधुलु आसिक so its peak was always at the back, and his forelock, his long hair, stumbled, shook like the falling of the water. Very strong falling from the waterfall. जलप्रपात पानी जमी कंटिन्यूस पड़ू थाए सेमती चलला बेले तार लंबा बाल है टम्बल्ड shook out of its round pockmarked face. Round pockmarked means mark or spot made by the smallpox. Pockmark, that is the ओमपुरी जो एक्टर ता मुसरा पूरा पूरा कौन एवं ना एवं तो आईगला जो टीका फोड़ा हम कौटी आसिक बसंत हम लोक अंध हो जाते है आउट ऑफ इट्स राउंड पॉक फेस a round face with a spot of a pock marks like a cat size, like a cat, green eyes, like a cat's, sparkled with scorn for everything. Sparkled, dazzled, brightened, okay, with a scorn, hate, avor, okay. So sparkled with a scorn for that means for everything and everyone. So what happened? Now Red walked masterfully up and down the street, and he used to wear the cap in a different manner. Its peak was always at the back of his head. From under his cap, that is his forelock, his long hair shook, tumbled down like the fall of water or very strong falling from the waterfall. It is shook, that means it is shook always. And out of his round pockmarked face, Red had a green eye, his green eyes sparkled, dazzled, brightened with scorn, hate for everything and everyone. आ चलला बेले कौन होता ना समस्त भ्रुकुंचन दृष्टि पूरा पूरी चिकचिकी आखी को पूरा समस्त कौन होता है दादा थिला ना so called दादा of the street so that the sparkled with scorn speedy है ये sparkled with scorn for everything and everyone. Didn't care. Two or three lieutenants, the lieutenants, that is the assistants. Okay, lieutenant, I would say phonetics is a lieutenant, that means I say what here it's phonetic is a lieutenant, not a lieutenant for your writing skill I am saying, but its pronunciation is a lieutenant. Two or three lieutenants in peaked caps back to front. In peaked, that means they used to wear the cap like red. Its peak was always at the back. Trimmed at his heels. Followed. Trimmed at his heels. How many heels do you know? Okay, how many heels? Where is your heel? Goiti. Nuchu kona sigi. Are heel era H double L is a goiti. Eta hochi kono? HEL calm down. Arogya hava. Ba get over. And this you know mountain. So at the tripped at his heels, followed him. अरे जोटी बड़ दादा थे निश्चय दिना सान दादा थे कुछ दादा थे आम अमको भाई आम किसी कहना ना नहीं बेसी कथा कहना मु अमको भाई लोक बट इट नेचुरल. So the red had two or three lieutenants. They used to follow him. They always used to follow him. They used to follow him wearing the cap in the same style. So why did Red's boys wear the cap in that style? Nani, why did they wear? Kahinki samane red bhaliya topi pinduthile? Or to show themselves as the Red's boys? Sadharana katha koi konno. Red had two or three lieutenants wearing the cap in the pink cap's back. So why do they wear that means a cap in that style? Now in order to show themselves, in order to present themselves as Red's boys, because Red was the ruler of the street. ना नहीं मैं तो एग्जाम्पल दिली हमको दादा लोग हाथ मारना ना नहीं. So that is Red could stop any boy and say impressively the one word money. So Red could stop any boy. In the street, Red could stop any boy and say impressively, with the impression, with the emphasis, one word money. Red could stop any boy in the street and say, demanded money. Hey, give the money. Come on, mal nikal. Card, improve money. His lieutenants would turn out. खाली कर दवा. Turn out the boy's pocket. So Red could stop any boy and say impressively the one word money. And that is when he said this, when he told this, the other boys would go and also his assistant would go and they make empty the boy's pocket. Hey, rah, paisa de. ये गले हाथ बोरी काटने चली आसले ना नहीं. And if he resisted protested, objected, प्रतिवाद कला, they would bear up him hard, they would beat him up hard. So if he resisted, if that boy protested or objected or complained, they beat him up hard. ଭଲ କରି ଛେଚି ଦଉଥିଲେ ପ୍ରଭୁ. କାଇଁ ମନା କଲ ବୁଝା ଦେବା ପାଇଁ? Na nahi, they beat him up hard. So question achi, what are the way of forcing money out of other boys? Now Red could stop any boy and say impressively the one word money. And if anyone objected or protested, they would beat him up hard. This was in this way Red snatched away money. Red snatched away money from other boys. Snatch away. That is, everyone was afraid of Red. So that's why everyone was afraid of Red in the street. Goli samaste Red ku bhoy korthile because of this. And also was I. Was the writer afraid of Red? Yes, the writer was afraid of Red. I knew he carried a heavy metal knuckle duster in his pocket. And he knew that Red used to carry a heavy metal knuckle duster, a kind of a weapon. ମୁଁ ତ ପିକ୍ଚର ବହୁତ ଦିନ ଛାଡ଼ି ସାରିଲିଣି. ଲାଷ୍ଟ ପିକ୍ଚର ଥିଲା ଯେଉଁ ଗୁଲାମ ପିକ୍ଚର ଆତିକା ଖଣ୍ଡାଲା ଅମିର ଖାଁକୁ ଆଉ ସେ ଯେଉଁ ରାଣୀ ମୁଖାର୍ଜୀ, ସେଥିରେ ଅମିର ଖାଁ ପିନ୍ଧିଥିଲା ଏ ଯେଉଁଟା ନକଲ ଡଷ୍ଟର. ଇଟ୍ସ ଏ କାଇଣ୍ଡ ଅଫ୍ ୱେପନ୍. ସେ ତାକୁ ପକେଟରେ ଥିବ ତୁମେ ଜାଣିନଥିବ, ହାତ ପୁରାଇଲେ ତ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ it came out, well equipped, armed with knuckle duster. That means pinch bahar to go boda bahar to. Without it, that means you beat him hard. Definitely that means you will be injured. So at the heavy metal knuckle duster in his pocket. So why was the writer afraid of Red? Now the writer knew that everyone was afraid of Red. Red was the ruler of the street, and that is besides he knew that Red had carried a heavy metal knuckle duster in his pocket. That's why he was afraid of Red. Question answer डाकी देले भलो होता है, तुम तो कोई ना ऐसा आमे ले क्यों मना करनी आसी? तुम जनरल कॉलेज हम डाकी दो question answer. यूनिट छोट छोट देते हैं ना. हो बट देखिया तमें लिखी देखे वो मते भलो, thank you, but don't follow the guidebook. Write from your own mind. Acha, does the writer have an encounter with Red? Question answer discussion कर देवी कि तुम लिखी मत देखे तो? मैं discussion कर दो ची. चला, what made Red look older than he really was? Red was, just I'm talking. तुम लिखी मत देखे हो, हला? Red was the ruler of the street. He was 16 years old. That means he was big and broad-shouldered beyond his years. This made Red look older than other boys. How did he roam in the street? Red walked masterfully up and down the street, legs wide with a slightly rolling gait, like a seaman on his deck. In this way, he roamed in the street. How did he dress himself? Red used to wear cap. Its peak was always at the back, and from under his cap, his forelock tumbled down like a fairy cascade. That's why in this way he dressed himself. That is, did he intentionally dress and walk in the manner so described? Red was the ruler of the street. That means in order to show something different from others, he used to wear the cap and its peak was always at the back. And from under his cap, his forelock tumbled down in a fairy cascade. Out of his round pockmarked face, his green eyes sparkled with scorn for everything and everyone. So that means in order to cause fear among the boys in the street, Red walked and dressed himself in the manner. Why did his lieutenants also wear their caps back to front? 2 or 3 lieutenants of Red Wearing the cap in like the same style, its peak was always at the back. They always followed red. In order to show themselves, in order to present themselves as Red's boys or belong to Red's gang, that means they used to wear the cap like this. That is, what pet animal comes to your mind when you read the expression tripped at his heels? When we read the expression tripped at his heels, the pet animal dog comes to our mind. So what pet animals comes to your mind when you read the expression tripped at his heels? The expression tripped at his heels comes to our mind. The pet animal dog comes to our mind when we read the expression tripped at his heels. What was his way of forcing money out of other boys? Red could stuff any boy and say impressively the one word money. At that time, his lieutenants would turn out the boy's pocket, and if he resisted, they beat him up hard. This was the way of forcing out of money, forcing money out of other boys. How did he rule the street? It's sure that Red was big and broad-shouldered beyond his years. He walked masterfully up and down the street. Besides, he carried he walked masterfully up and down the street, followed by his 2 or 3 lieutenants. Besides, he carried a heavy metal knuckle duster in his pocket. So that's why everyone was afraid of Red. Was the narrator afraid of Red? Yes, the narrator was afraid of Red. The line that the narrator was afraid of Red because he knew Red carried a heavy metal knuckle duster in his pocket. And also the line that is everyone was afraid of Red, so I was. Everyone was afraid of Red, so I was. Shows this. The line everyone was afraid of Red, so was I. That means shows this or present this. Hala. Lekhi mate question dekhibo na general class re mu daki diye madhya. I usually dictate the question, the student write. Dakiyara cannot read the English correctly. Okay? There are many students that they can write English properly, even they listen it. So that's why, that means I dictate them, then I just demand the scripts, check them also. So that's why that means it is rectified. Okay. If you want to write yourself, no problem at all, you write, but don't write more. As per your syllabus, 30 to 40 words. In book 2, 50 to 60 words. Okay. Does the writer have an encounter with Red?